Hello everyone. Hello Jara. Hey guys. Hey Miss Kaisha. Hey. Okay, perfect. We'll go ahead and get started while people are still trickling in. Yay, I'm so excited to have you all here today. Thanks for joining me. I love seeing all of your beautiful faces. Like, obviously we chat on Instagram, but like something about Zoom. It's not person, but like it's close enough, you know? Anyways, I'm so excited to have you all here live. We're getting into so many things today. Pregnancy, postpartum, motherhood, body image, self-love, just really all of it. If you don't have kids yet, this work still fully applies. My examples are going to be mom heavy, but if you're like, hey Kaisha, I'm not a mom yet, can you give me a different example? Let me know in the chat and I'm happy to provide that for you. So during the workshop, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. This is an interactive class, not a webinar, so I want you guys to feel like we're all chilling in my living room, besties hanging out, okay? So, oh, also at the end, I'll open it up for a live Q&A, and any like questions that you are dying to ask, you can ask whatever you would like. So, let's get into it, everyone. Oh my goodness, Jara, she's so cute. Okay, also I love when everyone brings their kids, it makes me so happy. So I'll watch my language, I do say the F word a lot, so I apologize in advance. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Everyone always asks me, Kaisha, what the F is MILF Energy? So I know I always use the word MILF, so like let's get that out of the way. I just love it, right? Like it can almost be controversial, and I think that's why I like it, because people, it can either go one of two ways. Like people either love it or they're like side-eyeing me like, what? But anyway, it's not about trying to like fit into some hot mom Instagram standard. To me, it's an energy that you carry, and it's what I call MILF energy. So to me, someone who is a MILF, who carries MILF energy, is someone who has a high self-image, who has a high self-level of love, has passions and hobbies outside of being a mom, listens to her intuition, and knows how to tap into her feminine magnetic energy. So buckle up, ladies. We are entering our MILF era. Even if you're not a mom yet, you're an honorary MILF, okay? All right, cool. So we're gonna start out with self-image. Why the hell does it even matter? Great question. I'd love to answer that for you. So if you have a low self-image, you'll pass it down to your kids, just like our moms, grandmas, aunts, whoever pass it down to us. We've all heard the term like generational trauma, and all that is a belief that kids pass down over and over and over again. So I'm sure you've heard things like, you know, in our family, women are just anxious, or everyone's big in our family, it's just genetics, or moms lose themselves, like that's just how it is. Now, these aren't actual facts. This is just programming that has been passed down from generation to generation. And yes, this includes physical stuff like that people say is just genetics. Like for example, excuse me, people who say like diabetes run in their family. Yes, it's a physical symptom you're experiencing, but there's also an emotional root that's making you a match for that, right? And it's an emotional root that keeps getting passed down from generation to generation. So now, your self-image is how you see yourself and how you think others see you. I say how you think they see you because it's not necessarily true. It's how you feel that they're seeing you and perceiving you. And this is the blueprint that you are handing to your kids. So growing up, I was around mostly my mom and grandma most of the time, and both of their self-images were in the trash can, as mine was. No shade. But anyway, we couldn't go into public anywhere really without my grandma getting triggered. Like, I swear to God, someone would look at her and she would be like, oh my God, they're talking shit. They think they're so much better than me. Realistically, looking back on it, like she was very like stylish, and they were probably just looking at her outfit and being like, wow, that's a cute outfit. But that's how she felt about herself. And so she was projecting, right? Like she thought everyone just hated her because that's how she was feeling internally. So then when we get home and she would rip herself apart in the mirror, like she was tiny. The woman was like 110 pounds and she was still pinching her stomach fat, talking about how her nose was too big, her teeth were gross. Like I heard it all. So she finally saved up one day for plastic surgery, and she thought, once I fix this, I'll feel beautiful, I'll feel worthy, people will love me. But what happened is she didn't heal any of those emotional wounds that were triggering her to feel this way in the first place. So all that surgery did was amplify everything she was already feeling. And after she had the surgery, She still hated herself and nothing changed internally. So again, if you don't heal the internal wound, there's nothing you can do externally to fix it. The wounds get louder. I have learned this the hard way as well. But now imagine being 5 years old, right? And I'm watching this, because kids' brains are like sponges, right? So my brain plugged in at a young age. You're not valuable or hot unless you're super skinny. You're not beautiful unless your face is perfect. And you have to have all of this or no one will like you. So I carried this for years, right? Like, honestly, I think until 4-ish years ago, maybe 5 now, I'm bad at timelines. 4 or 5 years ago is when I decided like this stops with me. Because of this belief system that I was holding previously, I was a match to get bullied for my appearance in like high school, junior high. I was a match for horrible cystic acne, like painful cystic acne. It was awful. I still have PTSD from that. And all of this followed me into pregnancy. So what it basically turned into is I had deep, deep, deep prenatal depression. If you listen to my podcast, I'm sure you have heard me talk about this. Because watching my body get bigger was such a mind fuck with that programming. Like, obviously I knew I was growing a baby, right? But it's just like the simple fact of watching yourself get exponentially bigger even when you're working out, eating well, all the things. It wasn't sitting right with my belief system. So I didn't take any pregnancy pictures. I didn't take any postpartum pictures. And I was disgusted with myself. I didn't want to remember any of it, which is totally different because I just took maternity pictures and I was like, wow, I actually feel freaking hot. And like, I never thought that would happen. Like, so that was a huge one there. Anyways, I love the little hand claps. I didn't even know you could do that. Yay. Yay, Kaisha, for teaching me new things. But like my grandmother, as soon as I had my daughter, right, I ran to the local med spa to get Botox and filler. I was convinced like this is gonna make me hot and confident and I'm gonna be the hottest mom there is. Of course, again, I healed at this time no internal wounds. All this did was amplify the inner wounds and the self-hatred I was feeling just like my grandmother. And that's when it clicked in my head. I was like, okay, this has got to end with me. I don't want to pass this on to Tatum, especially at the time, like she was a baby, right? And she's like perfect. I'm staring at her. I'm like, I can't even fathom the idea of her getting older one day and being like, oh, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not good enough because I'm not pretty. And I watch my mom, you know what I mean? Anyways, I did not want Tatum to live. And now Scotty, my unborn child, I didn't want her to live with the same self-image. So I got to work healing it. Now, she will never watch me rip myself apart in the mirror. We do self-image exercises together, which has been a game changer because I can watch how her mind works and how she sees herself, and it's actually very cute and like really exciting for her. But she's her own biggest hype queen. Like, we'll get ready for school and she'll be like, I'm the prettiest girl this morning. I'm like, you are queen, pop off. But I know she's not being weighed down by the old wounds that I carried because I'm teaching her differently. And kids pick up, their mirror neurons will pick up everything around them. So you don't even have to say like, I feel pretty, I feel hot. They're literally reading your energy. And now, because I've healed my self-image, right, she's picking up like, I feel confident, I feel worthy, I feel, worthy of taking up space, like all the things without me even like, having to tell her. Which is the cool things about kids, right? Like their brains are like sponges. They take in everything. Anyways, let me know in the chat how this is landing so far. And if you have some examples yourself of like how watching your moms, your grandmas, whoever raised you with their low self-image, how it trickled into you, let me know. I love specific examples because they're always good. We can dive in with those too. But while you guys are doing that, we're gonna do a live exercise together. So, this is a tool to reprogram your self-image. We're going to start reprogramming one neural pathway right now. So you can either grab a pen and paper, use your notes app, whatever you want to do, but I want you to list out one internal thing that you hate about yourself and one physical thing that you hate about yourself. Yes, hate, I know, stay with me. It sounds counterproductive, but I promise it's going to be a good exercise. But when I mean internal quality, think of like feeling like you're an overthinker, a procrastinator, disorganized, too emotional, lazy. And then like a physical quality would be like maybe you don't like your stomach or acne or stretch marks or you feel out of shape, like something like that. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna write down one thing that we hate about ourselves in each one of those. I'll give you 1 or 2 minutes to find these. Once you have these written down, I want you to also try to find one positive of each of those qualities that you wrote down. So I'll give you an example. I grew up being told I was a procrastinator, God, from a very young age. And what would happen was everyone told me you're gonna get to college and you're gonna crash and burn and just, you know, all these like crazy stories. So what would happen is I would stop being a procrastinator and I would do my papers 2 weeks early and I'd start studying 2 weeks early. And every time I did that early and did on what I was supposed to do on time, right? I failed. Every time I failed, like 65 or below. But you bet your ass, if I waited until the very last minute, the day before, the night before, the morning of, I did that a lot in college, I would make a 90 or above every single time. So I basically took something that people said was a bad quality, and I'm like, well, it's not actually a bad quality. I use it to my advantage, right? It lights a fire under my ass. I get what takes most people 2 weeks to get done, I can get it done in 2 hours, right? I work at a lightning speed, so I've been able to turn it, right, and see the positive in what some people would call a negative trait. So that's what we're doing today. So I'm gonna give you guys 1 minute, and then I'll see if someone likes to share. Don't feel obligated to share, but I obviously would love to hear like 1 or 2 people share and like, let's chat about it. So I'll give you a minute. Ms. Jara said, I was, and in the same way, didn't take maternity photos either, changing that as we speak. Yes, love that. Okay, about 30-ish seconds. Good, Patrick. Okay, perfect. Do I have a volunteer to share their ones that they dislike? I can't find one positive thing about it. Okay, I'll help you in just a second. Do I have a volunteer to share one negative thing that they've turned into a positive? And I'll give you one to add to your list too. But also the cool thing about everyone being here is pay attention what others share, because everyone here is a match to hear what the other person is saying. So maybe like your brain didn't think of it, but you're like, oh, that could apply to me too. Maybe they're reading your mind and saying something you have written down as well. So anyways, pay attention. Any volunteers?
I can volunteer.
Perfect.
So one of mine is too emotional. And the positive to that is I help others feel their emotions that they might not necessarily feel.
Totally, and you don't hold back your emotions, which a lot of people do. I'm one of those people, well, not so much anymore, but I used to like suppress, and you're not like that, so that you actually feel your emotions and then act on them later, versus a lot of people like suppress it and then years later like explode because they've held it in for too long.
Yes.
So great job.
Thank you.
Okay, Patrick, I'll do your being too offensive, taking things too personal. To me, those are kind of two different things, so I'm gonna do being too offensive. I would say a positive to that is you're speaking your mind, like you're not afraid to hold back. Now, are you being hyper aware of how people think? Sure, but once you're rooted to what you're saying being like just authentic, you'll see that people reflect back to you. They're not gonna be taking offense to it, but you're very outspoken. A lot of people can't do that, right? Like they feel very scared to say what's on their mind. You don't have that problem, so that's a positive in that one. Miss Tara, what is yours? Oh, you struggle to follow through. Let me see. Ooh, okay, you're very, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm gonna say the word cautious because I can't think of a better word at the time, but like you really make sure that you want to do something before you go all in and do it. I'm also not like this. When I have one idea, I act on it immediately, and then I'll be doing it and I'm like, I don't know if that was a great idea to do. You actually are very cautious and you think about it and you make damn sure that whatever you want to do, like you want to do. So that's a positive for you. Hunter, I'm finding it hard to find a positive for my external though. Skin elasticity drives me nuts. Like stomach skin elasticity, or like, can you give me an example?
Yeah, so just like in general skin elasticity, like I feel like I'm not crepey by any means, but it's like, it's just not the youthful skin I used to have. it's like
Good
everywhere. It's not just like stomach. It's like all over.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, let me see. Ooh, this is a good one. I would say it's giving you an opportunity to love your body for how it is. Like, obviously, I know we are our own worst critics, because when I had Tatum, I know exactly the crepey skin you're talking about. I had the one spot on my stomach and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wear a bikini. But what it did was it forced me to stare at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, am I really gonna let this skin like hold me back? Like, be so for real right now. And it made me start to fall in love like with my skin and with what my body went through. I know you haven't had a baby yet, but like yours could be, it's giving you the opportunity to love yourself unconditionally. What happens is when we can love ourselves unconditionally, even these physical things that we perceive as negatives, it starts to heal. Like my acne that I was talking about, I never did any like Accutane or like whatever. Now, did I try over the counter like skin things? I went to a dermatologist. None of that shit worked. But once I started healing internally and being like, okay, well, why am I so angry about how I'm being perceived? I started healing the root. It all went away, and now my skin, you can't even tell. And I was just convinced that I was gonna have acne scars. Anyway, I digress, but did that help her?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Okay, Miss Jera, I don't believe in myself and my stomach, having a hard time losing the baby weight there, but when I do something and it works, I show myself how I am badass, and my stomach gave me my daughter. No, 100%. Okay, so Jera, your stomach, I had this too, right? Because you don't lose everything right at once. Like, let me tell you what, I had Tatum and I looked in the mirror like, you know, a few hours after birth, and I wasn't expecting to be like rail thin, but I was expecting to see like a flatter stomach than what I had. I didn't. And I was like crashing out at the hospital. I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, what it taught me was it's giving you the opportunity to love yourself. Again, kind of what I was telling Hunter, unconditional love. But what I would do is I would stand in the mirror and I would put my hands on my stomach and be like, okay, you know what? I don't love how you look right now, but can I love you for the function you provide? Can I love you for digesting my food? For whatever else stomach does. I'm blanking, but you get my point. Yes, it also gave your daughter life. Like, you are such a badass for being able to do that. But once again, you can love your body for the way it's functioning. You'll see that the weight starts to actually fall off because you're not beating yourself up as hard because you're finding ways to love it. Yes. Okay, she's also have a problem feeling stuck and not taking action because I'm afraid before something is perfect. Well, you could flip that and say, like, yes, you could say perfectionism is a flaw, but you could also say it's not a flaw, what's the word I'm looking for? A positive, because you're making sure everything is perfect before you take action, or what you perceive as perfect, right? You're not letting things fall through the cracks. You're making sure everything is in place and is perfect before you take action and do whatever it is that you need to do. Again, I don't have that problem. I'm the exact opposite, and I would love some perfectionism just so maybe I could like I'm sure you guys see me on my stories. I never spell check anything, and you know, maybe if I would pay a little bit more attention to details, I'd catch that, but you know, I probably won't ever, so I hope that helps. You guys are not alone. Okay, cool, great job. What this is doing is this is teaching your brain to see yourself differently, which is the first step to self-image healing. You're already perfect, right? It's just our perception that's out of alignment, and this is reminding you who you are. So I'm probably gonna record this. You'll get a recording after. Go back and listen to this, because I know at first when you're trying to rewire a neural pathway over something that's negative, it's like, it's hard. Once you keep doing it over and over again, you will suffocate the old neural pathway and create it with the new one, and then you'll be feeling like $1,000,000. So, love that. Katie said, the flat stomach theme has been really prominent since childhood. I'm a short girl and have always been fit, but have always had a rounder lower tummy instead of abs, even at my lowest weight, but it makes my hips look sensual, and I think maybe it helps me feel beautiful and goddess-like. No, I agree. It's like, I haven't seen your full body, so I'm going off energetics here, but I see, like, you know, like curvy, like goddess vibes, like you're saying. Yes, it gives you more like, you look more like, I don't know, feminine is the word I'm looking for, right? Like me, granted, I love my body too, but when I was younger, I always wanted like hips because I'm built like a square. Now I see pros in that too, because I can literally squeeze into anything, right? I'm like, I don't have to worry about something fitting me because I'm just like a little box. But I did always want hips because I thought they were so feminine and sexy. So you definitely have that. Okay, cool. I'm gonna give you guys a MILF ingredient today. So your brain is wired to scan for what's wrong. It's a leftover survival tactic from when, the caveman days. Unfortunately, we're not running from lions anymore, but our brain still acts like it is, right? It's always looking out for survival. It's always looking for the negative, what's wrong, all the things. So we have to give it new ingredients. Just like you would need specific ingredients to bake a cake, you need a specific energetic ingredient to create a high self-image. So I'm gonna give you guys one MILF ingredient to clock into today. This one is for the moms. I'm gonna give the girlies who aren't moms yet a separate one. So if you're a mom, your ingredient is going to be first name. You get to be the mom who has it all. Also, if you're trying to get pregnant in the next year or two, go ahead and use this one as well. This will help expedite the process. Coming from someone who has gone through pregnancy with no tools, none of this knowledge, to where I'm at now, it's a whole lot easier when you have the tools and knowledge. So if you start working on it now, you'll save yourself a lot of pain. But anyways, what you're gonna do with this to prove this true to your brain is I want you to find moms who were already living a life that you want. So when I do this, I love Amanda Francis. That girl is running her own business. She's got multiple kids. She just picks up and travels. And if she's working, she'll pop on a live and do it when she's across the world. There's another one, Margarita. I can't say her last name if I tried, but she teaches feminine energy. She's got 2 kids. She's always popping online and she'll have the babies in her hand while she's talking and teaching on Instagram stories about her feminine energy, whatever. But those 2 are just proof of what I want to embody post-baby, right? I want to still be traveling, which I do at Tata. I'm talking about obviously when I have my newborn. But I still want to be traveling. I still want to be getting online, talking, and not worried if my child's crying in the background. Still being so confident in who I am and showing up. So by me finding those 2 women that are already doing that, I'm proving to my brain that it's possible. I'm proving to my brain that it's a possibility, because if she can do it, why the fuck can't I do it? Oops, I said I would watch my language. I'm sorry. So why couldn't I do it, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna find people. Again, these are 2. You can find as many as you want. The more, the better. I would say try to find at least 3 to 5 is a sweet spot. But you're going to prove to your brain that this is true. And you could use this as your MILF vision board if you want. But title it, first name, you get to be the mom who has it all. And you're either going to look at your vision board daily or read through this daily and just remind your brain, this is possible for me. I get to do these things. What happens is when we're creating a new neural pathway, again, we have to suffocate the old one. It doesn't happen by doing it one time, unfortunately. It'd be a lot easier if it did, just unfortunately it doesn't work that way. You have to keep doing it for at least, let me just intuit this, at least 4 to 6 weeks for it to fully reprogram. So just once a day, set a timer, clock into this. You can also find micro moments of how you are already that mom. And it could be I don't know, maybe you went to Starbucks and got coffee and you didn't feel guilty. You took 15 minutes to journal. Maybe you booked a massage. Maybe you came to this live class today, right? You made time for this. That's huge. Put that down. You're already the mom who has it all. A lot of the times we already do the same things as these people that we admire and look up to. We're just not realizing it because we're stuck in that negative loophole. So this is what's going to shift that. And then for my girlies who are not moms yet, do first name. You get to create the life you desire. You're going to do the same thing that I just said, it just won't be with mom. So find women who are living your quote unquote dream life, or doing things that you want to do, and prove to your brain that it is true and it's possible. Let me know if you guys have any questions on that. Okay, perfect. Again, most of the time we're already doing pieces of this. We just need to emotionally root to it. You can logically think something all the live long day, I'm hot, I'm sexy, whatever. But if your subconscious programming is going, no, you're not, you're fat, you're this, you're that, right? That's what's going to take the lead. So if you're emotionally connected to something, I'm emotionally connected to, I can create my dream life. And I find little micro moments to prove that true to my brain every day. Then when I tell myself that, I'm yeah, I can create anything. My subconscious is yeah, you can. You've created this and this and this. So similar thing. We want to be emotionally rooted to it. That's when our subconscious brain will get on board. Okay, perfect. Now we are getting into self-love. So, especially in motherhood, self-love is a non-negotiable. I mean, I would say it's a non-negotiable either way, but especially in motherhood, society told us, like, you know, good moms put everyone else first, or you're selfish if you prioritize yourself. And I grew up watching my mom run on absolute fumes for everyone but herself, right? Like, so I subconsciously plugged into my brain, being a good mom equals abandoning myself. And then I also watched my friends' moms at the time, and they were doing the same thing, right? Like, they were unhappy, overgiving, burnt out. So that proof was literally everywhere around me. So from experience, what I have learned in these last like 5 years, it doesn't have to be this way. Because how could you possibly pour from an empty cup, right? Like, how are you going to fill your child's cup, your husband's cup, whoever, when you're running on fumes? You can't do it, right? So we're going to redefine self-love, what that looks like and what that means. Companies have turned self-love into a face mask, a bubble bath, a latte. And like, don't get me wrong, those things are cute, they're fine, but like, they're not healing your creator field. You're just kind of putting a band-aid on it and being like, okay, I'm having self-love today. Now, the source definition of self-love is the ability to put yourself first in every area, in every situation, in micro ways, in big ways, whatever it is. It's being able to put yourself first. And I know the brain's immediately going, Kaisha, that sounds so selfish. It's not. And here are some examples of how I do this in my day-to-day life. So like, Tate will ask me to get her milk or water or a snack or whatever she needs. And before I get up to do that, I'll ask myself, Kaisha, what's one thing you can do for yourself right now? And it's not always like something big and drastic. Maybe it's, I need a sip of water, I need to go pee. Sometimes I just need to take a breath and be like, Kaisha, you got this. You guys know those days, right? But it's just something like small, right? So what you're doing is before, yes, still help your child, like whatever, help people. I'm not saying don't help anyone, but before you do something for them, what's one thing you can do for yourself? Again, it can be very micro. Chris, well, let's say your partner asks you to do something. Before you jump into help, what's one micro thing? Maybe you just need to do a quick stretch, take a deep breath, take a sip of water, like whatever it is, just do something for yourself first. That's when you start reprogramming in your creator field, I come first. Why this matters is people treat you how you treat you, not how you treat them. Contrary to how we're taught, I know. But if you're constantly putting yourself last, your creator field's going to broadcast, I come last. So your partner, your kids, your family, your clients will all act that out in front of you. Everyone will be put before you. You're gonna be running on fumes. It can even start to turn into people like never getting your order right. Whenever you have a moment of silence, something chaotic happens. Oh my God, one time I was picking up, this was like 6 months ago, my self-love level had tanked a little bit. So we go to the car pickup line and you have to put a number in your window and then they bring the kids out. You guys, for a week straight, they missed Tatum. And I was like, okay, I've got to raise my self-love because I'm so tired of them forgetting my child. Like, it was so bizarre. But that's like the random things that it can translate into when your self-love levels are starting to drop. And it can even translate into your relationship. Like, if you guys have followed me for a while, I avidly talked about this last year, but I got cheated on last year. Now, was it my fault? No, absolutely not. But did my energy play a role in it? Yes. I had to take radical responsibility for the piece that my energy played and heal that. Because if I didn't, and even if I would have left him and gotten into another relationship, it would have happened again, right? Because I didn't heal that inner wound. But anyways, my self-love level at the time was a 14%, which is incredibly low. And so I had programmed, put everyone ahead of me. Everyone is ahead of Kaisha. Kaisha doesn't matter, basically. And Chris heavily reflected that to me, right? Like, he was upping his work travel. I had less help. We were going on no dates. I had no support. And here's where I got it wrong. I was taking myself out like once or twice a week to get a coffee or like out to lunch or something like that. And I was like, oh, my self-love level is high. Like 1 to 2 times a week, I'm taking myself out. And it didn't do it, right? Like, yeah, sure, 1 to 2 times a week I was doing something nice for myself, but was I putting myself first all day long? No. And I crashed and burned because of it. Learned from my mistakes. But when I flipped it and I healed it and I started putting myself first, my life and my relationship completely changed. Chris now reflects back to me support. He's very thoughtful and like he'll randomly buy me gifts, flowers, whatever. He's very present. He now makes me coffee and breakfast every single morning. He does the laundry. He's always making sure I'm taken care of, right? And it's because I'm a match for it now because I've raised my self-love levels. Before, they were so low that I was a match for him to be like gone all the time, to get no help. And it even turns into Tatum wanting to help me. Like she'll be like, can I mop the floor today? And I'm like, sure, I'd love the help. So again, it's not about blaming. It's about what was my reflection here and what do I want to program in my energy instead. So let me know in the chat how this is landing so far. And do we have any questions on the self-love portion? Cool. So we're going to talk about getting triggered and bringing our emotions down. Carolina, can we do it in our mind several times a day, not just in our journal? Yes, I do everything in my mind now. When I first started out, I did it all in my journal just because it was easier for my brain to keep up. But now I do it in my head more often than I do my journal. Great question. Okay, getting triggered and bringing our emotions down. So let's talk about our triggers. So anytime you get triggered, it's a reflection of how you're treating yourself in some way. So maybe you're feeling ignored, not heard, criticized, unappreciated, whatever it is. It's showing you where you're doing that to you somehow. Now, does this make the trigger less triggering? No, it does not at all. But it does give you the power to shift it, which is why I'm telling you this, right? But here's something that I have learned for an in-the-moment regulation tool. As a girly who is I used to be highly reactive and would super react in the moment. Now I've, reeled that in. I've been working on my emotional mastery the last 2 years. Am I perfect? No, but we're getting there. Anyways, here's what I do when I'm feeling like super triggered, whether I'm at home, in public, whatever. But I will step away from the situation if you can. If you can't, you can do this where you're at, but I prefer to step away from the situation. Maybe I'll go up to my room, to the restroom, whatever. But you're gonna do a 4-count inhale and a 4-count exhale. And you're gonna repeat this 6 times. And then you're gonna start to tap on your heart gently. And you're gonna focus on your feet. I know it's random, but what are they touching? How do they feel? How does the ground feel? Maybe you're sitting, I don't know. But just focus on how they feel. What this is doing is it's distracting your brain and it's getting you out of the fight or flight that you're in. And it's making it easier to see what's really going on. Then once you've calmed down, right, you can ask yourself, how did this person make me feel? And get very specific. Instead of going straight to like angry, mad, irritated, did they make you feel like you weren't included? Did they make you feel not heard? Did they make you feel criticized? Did they make you feel not important? I don't know, get very specific. Then you're going to ask, where am I doing that to myself? Recently, I felt like Chris was being like highly critical of me, which was annoying. And was I triggered for that? Yes, I was. But I had to take a moment and see where I was actually being critical of myself. And what was going on internally was I was actually telling myself I wasn't doing enough in my business. Which, is that true? No, I mean, realistically, there's only so much I can do in my business. There's only so many things I can post on Instagram, TikTok, emails in one day, right? So I was doing plenty. It was just my perception. I was thinking I wasn't doing enough. So I had to flip the script and start telling myself like how proud I was of myself for all the work that I was putting in. And guess what? Now that I've shifted that, he's constantly telling me how proud of me that he is. Why? Because I tell myself that and he's just reflecting to me how I feel about myself. The world is just one big giant mirror about how we think, feel, and see ourselves. So if I'm constantly feeling like, oh my God, Kaisha, I'm so proud of you, right? Then I'm gonna be a match for other people to tell me that. Now, do I necessarily need people telling me that? No, but it's a great tool to use to see like that your work is shifting or that your energy is shifting. Cam, I could use some emotional mastery. Let me tell you what, I understand. I teach a lot of that in MILF U in phase 3 because I was so reactive. And I still can be at times, like if I'm mad enough, but I've really, really worked on that. So I'm proud of myself for that. But anyways, I understand, I feel your pain. But anyway, this leads me into your invite to MILF U. What we did today was what I call the warm-up, the MILF Era warm-up. That's what I should have named for this course, the MILF Era warm-up. But there's so much more I can teach on this. Like, think of this as like the foundation of the foundation. But today we started rewiring our self-image. We learned a new tool for raising your self-love. We learned tools to shift your creator field in real time. Probably connected some dots that maybe you've been carrying for years. So you're gonna start to notice this in your day-to-day life if you keep up the work, right? Like if you leave this and you take the tools that I've taught today and keep doing them daily, you're going to feel this in your day-to-day life. The way you look at your body, how you respond to your kids, and the micro choices that you make for yourself. And this was just, excuse me, one class. So if this is how you feel after a free workshop, guys, imagine what happens when we spend 23 weeks together. This is exactly what we're doing in MILF U. MILF U is my 23-week experience where we do a lot, but we rewire self-image, break generational patterns, heal emotional and energetic root causes, deep-rooted traumas, reparent ourselves, reprogram the creator field. The list goes on, but I've got 4 phases: self-image healing, intuition training, trauma healing, and physical and emotional transformation. Words are not wording today for me. I feel like I keep stumbling on them. Anyways, but because you showed up live today, I've got a special bonus for you. So for 4 days only, MILF U is $400 off. I've never done this big of a discount before, but I'm feeling in the Christmas spirit. So anyways, it is, I'll put it in the chat, code HOLIDAY AF. And here is you'll get an email with this afterwards, but here is the info as well. Cool. So you guys have already felt what it's possible in a couple of hours. Just imagine what we're getting in 23 weeks. You also get lifetime access and access to all future upgrades. MILF U, I'm gonna be massively fucking upgrading soon in the next year, because I mentioned this earlier, like I've gone through pregnancy now with no tools, none of this knowledge, to where I'm at now. And it's like night and day, guys. Like I'm cruising along right now. And it was not like that with my first pregnancy. The only symptom I had was week like 7 and 8, TMI. I didn't have morning sickness, but I had diarrhea every day for those 2 weeks, healed the emotional root, and I have not had a single issue since. And it's because of the work that I do and I teach in MILF U, right? All by healing emotional roots, all of those things, and heavily rewiring limiting beliefs around motherhood. So anyway, it'll be getting massively upgraded is my point. And if you buy now, you get access to all future upgrades. So anyways, I'm gonna open that up. What questions do you guys have for me? Patrick, let me read yours. Can you share with us what limiting beliefs your daughter got from you since you didn't do this work when Tate was born, and how did you shift that with her? I started this work when she was like really small. I mean, I started this when Tate was like 2.5. So I kind of did the work before she had to take any on, but she did get to watch me go from like, you know, being depressed and upset and just like in a, I guess just a depressive state, for the lack of better terms, to like actual happiness and feeling lit up and like loving motherhood. But when I started doing the work when she was like 2.5, 3, like we would do it together. We would get in the mirror and we would compliment ourselves. So she basically did the work with me. So I kind of like, you know, rewrote those years where I wasn't doing the work when she was small. But great question. Keisha, can you tell me the biggest emotional root cause that has passed down to me that's currently hindering my growth? Yes. Right now, the loudest one in your creative field, Keisha, is like, I can't, like that you can't do it. Like it's possible for everyone else, but not Keisha. Like, you don't have the ability to do it. Or like, so I'm trying to think of a better word. Hold on. Like you're seeing people online create these things and you're like, yeah, that's really cool, like for them, but like I could never. It's not true. Like you totally can, right? It's just you realizing your potentials. And like, even I know you've started posting on Instagram now, like incredible, like your stories are incredible. Root to them even more because they're so good and everything that you're sharing. Keep sharing, right? And just keep rooting to like, you can create the life you desire 100%. Heather, let's see. Heather, yours is around feeling stuck right now. Like, it's almost like analysis paralysis. Like you just don't know which action to take because you feel very stuck. Cam, yours is around not feeling good enough, like not feeling worthy enough to create a life you desire, to have a career you desire, to anything like that. Jera, would you mind doing that for me too? Or around weight loss, just feeling like I need to grow and finally feel ready to. Yes, Jera, yours is around, yours is kind of like Keisha's, same but different. Like you, logically, you know, like you can create anything that you want, but you have a very deep subconscious belief of like, I could never. Who am I to own a house of my dreams? Who am I to have a successful business? Who am I to, like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, you just have these like very limiting beliefs of what it's possible to create for you. Again, it's not true. It's just what you believe to be true, and it's making you feel that way. Patrick, can you tell me what's my biggest block in appreciating my physicality? Yours is just, you're never going to be able to appreciate your physicality if you can't love your body for what it's functioning for. So instead of like focusing on your physicality of like how it physically looks, can you love yourself? Can you love your body for the function that it's providing? And break it down for each one, like your stomach, your shoulder, like whatever it is. Break that down further. Miss Dana, can you check my self-love levels? Of course. You're like at 22% right now. Cam, very on point. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Miss Taylor, Kaisha, do I need another course right now, or do I need to actually implement and start building confidence in what I know and what I'm offering? You could go either way. I mean, a course isn't going to hurt you, but if you're feeling like you need to implement before buying that, you can do that. Like, I'm not saying one way is not necessarily better than the other, but for sure start rooting to like your knowledge and what you're sharing. That way you can bring in more clients. Like, why can it only be gotten from Taylor? And like, you have such a unique personality, and like the way you present yourself online, like you're hilarious. You like logically know that, but you're not emotionally connected to that. So just like emotionally rooting to your personality and like how you say it is perfect is going to be like chef's kiss for taking your business to the next level. You're welcome. Okay, guys, do we have any other questions? Also, you guys can feel free to turn your cameras on and just ask me. Or you can put in the chat either way. I've been appreciating my body for like 2 weeks now. Can you tell us how ready I am to it? You're still only like 28% ready to it. Keep doing. It's a hard one to rewire, so don't beat yourself up over it. It's just like I don't know how old you are, but I'm 33, so you're taking 33 years of how you used to beat yourself up, and then now you're trying to rewrite it in 2 weeks. It's just, the brain's very stubborn, so it takes time. So don't get down on yourself. Okay, yay. Any other questions, guys? Carolina, can you tell me what my higher self wants me to know right now? My son is sick, and I think it's my reflection. Definitely your reflection. Higher self just wants you to really like start honing in more on like intuition and using that to your advantage. We're at the clinic right now. Oh, I hope he feels better. Start getting connected to your intuition, like fully listening to it. Right now you're connected or like listening to your intuition about 28%. Focus on using that more often versus logic. And that's what higher self wants you to focus on right now. Taylor, wait, can you tell me what my weight gain reflection is right now? You're just very hard on yourself, specifically financially and in career. You're kind of like me where you loop those together. It's your thoughts are around like, why am I not bringing in clients? Why am I not good enough? I could be doing more. I need to be doing better. Like loops like that. Am I distorted? Shut the fuck up. My daughter needed me the most. This call, is there any way this can be sent to me if you are, oh yes, I'm recording it. I'm gonna do probably a 48-hour replay, so I'll either email it or put it on my stories, but yes, feel free to rewatch. You are welcome. Okay, guys. Well, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hopefully I'll see some of you in MILF U. It's gonna be a fun time in there. And if I don't see you before Christmas, Merry Christmas, everyone, and I will see you all in the new year. So, have a great day. Bye.